So what have I learnt on my running journey so far? Well, aside from learning how to put gratuitous slow motion clips into my videos, I've also learnt that if you buy cheap, you definitely buy twice, and you also need to research any kit that you're unfamiliar with before taking the plunge and taking part in long distance events. It's time for the second and definitely not the last video in my All the Gear No Idea series. My first video was all about the vest I bought on a whim, the Arctic Fit vest. And please, if you haven't already seen it, please go and give it a watch. But within a few weeks of buying that vest and having never really run more than half marathon distance in my life, I decided that the next logical thing to do was to sign up to do a 100k ultra marathon. Brilliant idea, and as soon as the emails came through with the instructions for the event, as I read through, I realised that the sheer amount of mandated kit you have to carry, as well as the water capacity you have to have, was not going to work with the Arctic Fit. It's just not made for ultra marathons. So it was time to go on the internet and spend yet more money. Brilliant. And you would think, having just bought something on a whim that kind of works but wasn't really for me, that I would have spent my time going onto forums, looking what other people were using, and do my research. But then there wouldn't be a series, would there? What I did was went onto Amazon and typed in ultra marathon running vest. So what did I end up with? After spending 45 minutes in the Amazon whirlpool of similar products, I eventually came across this one. 5 litres carrying capacity and giving me the ability to carry just over 2 litres worth of water. So how did my on-research product do? Well, here it is in the flesh, the UtoBest 5 litre. Highly reflective writing and banding on there, which is great for those low light or dark conditions. 1.5 litre incorporated water bladder as well. And what I really like about that is it's a 2-sleeve compartment in there. So you've got your water bladder close to your back and then another compartment for all your gear to go into. Straight away, the material is built far better for me. So it's the honeycomb kind of structure designed to be highly breathable, which is great for someone like me that gets quite hot. Other features I really liked on early inspection. So with the hydration tube, you can either have it come over the right or left shoulder, depending on your own personal preference. It's then got bands to guide it through and then a further clip on one of your chest straps just to stop it flapping around unnecessarily. 2 small pockets at the top of the vest. The right hand one contains a whistle, which is actually mandated on a lot of the ultras, so that's just an easy win. The 2 straps on the front of this vest, not only are they elasticated, which give you far more ability to adjust it to a decent fit and helps with the sizing, you can also adjust it vertically as well, just on the vest. They are really good, but having used them on day sacks in the past, if this comes off the guide rail, it's nigh on impossible to get back on. So you do have to be a little bit careful about how robustly you handle these straps. But that's the case across many products, and it is really hard to pull that off. You have to be quite determined. On the sides, dual side straps as well. They're not elasticated, but it's all designed to give you as much scope to get the best fit possible. Not too bad. And then on the front, 2 of the soft flasks. Now these are 350ml each. They normally come with just the standard bottle cap. I paid a bit more because when I was using the Arctic Fit, having to kind of crane my neck down and bring the vest up to get to more water is a little bit annoying. And certainly for a longer run, having that distance like reduced is really, really good. And I much prefer having these on than the standard bottle caps. So all in all, quite a good vest without having tried it properly, and certainly something I was really looking forward to using on my first 100k ultra and a 50k trial run as well. And it's fair to say the vest did a really good job keeping me cheerful on the Maverick Terex 50k in the Chiltern Valley, and then also the Stour Valley Path 100k event, where I wasn't running with my best mate and I looked decidedly less chilled out at the finish line. So, an online gamble that could have really hindered my ultra experience last year, but actually just helped me get over that finish line, set some good times, and make some friends along the way. So, whether by luck or design, I've bought a product that has served me well on both a 50k and a 100k ultra marathon, and I'm still using it today. I am still recovering from a fractured ankle that I sustained in January, and as I'm building back up to long distance, I am running with a little bit of weight, some kind of med kit bits in my bag just in case the worst should happen. It's a good vest, and I will be keeping it. There are a couple of bits that don't really work for me, and without wanting to put too much of a spoiler alert on, has led to me buying another vest. First and foremost, it comes down to the capacity. So the 5 litre, whilst it did carry all my bits that I needed for my 50k and 100k ultras, it was a bit of a squeeze. Now, when the water bladder is fully inflated, it does kind of push into that front compartment where all your gear needs to be. And I found that when I needed to refill my water, I had to pull pretty much everything out to then refill the water bladder and then put it back in and then repack. It's not the end of the world, but it just adds unnecessary time. And if I learn to pack maybe a little bit more frugally, then it's not too much of an issue. But it made it so, it is what it is. I did restrict myself as well because the UtoBest does have a variety of running vests, and there is a larger capacity. I think it's a 10 or 12 litre one. But I was hell bent on getting a vest with the 2 soft flasks on the front, and that is the only variety that UtoBest have that has that configuration. All the others is one solid flask. So that's purely me just wanting to go for not necessarily aesthetics, but just my own personal choice. Another thing that I'm not such a big fan of, it comes with the hydration bladder. So through my military service, I've normally used Camelback, which is normally the screw top. I find that a lot easier to fill without spilling too much water. This one instead was a flip top where you slide this on afterwards. Now the drama I had was when you go to the rest stops, they are so helpful, and you can literally pass them your flasks while you're doing your admin, getting some food, and they will refill everything for you. I'm not sure if it was me or one of the helpers, but essentially this flip top, if you do it wrong and fold it the other way, this still goes on, but it takes a fair bit of effort. And I remember through the run when I did the Stour Valley Path, quite at least a couple of times, guys remarking how hard it was to get that off and back on. So I think I've been folded over. Now the drama that's caused is that side is reinforced, doing it this way isn't. And I don't know if it's particularly obvious, but you can just see on either side it has caused 2 small tears. End result is this now leaks if you were to use it again. And luckily I trialed it before I went on my Thames Path Ultra, realised it was leaking. I'm not really sure it can be repaired, so I had to go and buy another one. End result, I've bought one with a screw top. But if you do get one of these, I would recommend you just take a few minutes to make sure you're happy with how that slide top works, and make sure that the guys at the aid station know as well if they're unfamiliar. So that's that on the water. The only other thing that really does get me with this vest is when I went on Amazon, the price advertised was £27.80. Bearing in mind the Arctic Fit had been £40. So I thought that was a great deal. And it is if you've got a lot of your own kit. Unfortunately, the vest comes for £27.80, but nothing else. So if you want the 1.5 litre water bladder, that's another £10. If you want to have the soft flasks, whether it's the standard cap or with these, that's more money. So for 2 of these with the straws, that's another £15. So suddenly the £27.80 vest is suddenly coming in at over 50. Again, it's not the end of the world. It's still, I think, a reasonable price. but I would have preferred maybe just to see the price up front. It's just a little bit kind of, whether you put it down as clever marketing just to get your attention at a cheap vest or standard commercial practice, I don't know. But when you realise you've got to add half the value back on again to get everything you need, I'm not such a big fan of that. But closing thoughts, it's a great vest. I've restricted myself with my choice of configuration, but I would recommend this. And having seen it at 10K events and half marathons, I think it's well worth a punt. And hopefully this has been useful for you. There is another video coming for the third vest I've bought, just to help me in my ultra marathon journey. But if you haven't already, please like the video, think about subscribing, it costs nothing. And please leave a comment in the video. Tell me what vest you're using, if you've used the UtoBest, the Arctic Fit, or any recommendations you have. But thank you very much for your time.